Bonjour! Vous m'entendez bien? You can hear me? Oh, now you can hear me. This is a great announcement. We're outside, middle of February. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And I do want to say hello, Kwe, bonjour. Mon nom est Mona Fortier, je suis la députée d'Ottawa Vanier. Et je remercie mon collègue Yassir Nagvi qui me donne l'honneur d'être ici aujourd'hui. Now, let me begin by recognizing that we are on the traditional land of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people, and we acknowledge them as past, present, and future caretakers of this land. Et je tiens vraiment à vous remercier d'être ici avec nous aujourd'hui. Alors, I would also recognize my good friend and honorable colleague, Steven Guilbeault, Minister of the Environment and Climate Change. Also, I would like to recognize on my left Patrick Nadeau, CEO of Birds Canada. And we do have another parliamentarian, a good colleague of ours that enjoys bird watching, I believe, Richard Cannings, who's here, NDP, Member of Parliament, South Okanagan, West Kootenay. Welcome, Richard. Thank you for being with us. And it's also great to see the board members and honorees of Birds Canada being present today, the leading bird conservation organization in our country. Thank you for all your efforts. It's very appreciated. And of course, I would like to welcome the members of Atlas, Project Feeder Watch, and all of the attending organizations with representatives here. They do dedicate their time, their efforts to protecting, breeding, and ensuring our bird populations can thrive. And when our bird populations can thrive, we also thrive. Alors, je suis ravie de participer à cette annonce aujourd'hui. Vous savez, une des priorités de notre gouvernement, c'est de protéger et conserver notre patrimoine naturel, prévoir les conditions météorologiques et environnementales, prévenir et gérer la pollution et promouvoir une croissance propre et un environnement durable pour les générations d'aujourd'hui et de demain. Bird populations face a variety of threats, including the loss of their natural habitats and climate change and avian influenza, which has spread significantly since 2021, now affecting migratory bird populations in every province and territory. And birds are an effective indicator on the health of our ecosystems and habitats. So I really look forward to hearing how this announcement can help us in our fight to conserve and to protect our natural heritage. Alors, sans plus tarder, j'inviterai mon collègue à venir présenter ses remarques en cette belle journée ou cette belle après-midi que nous avons aujourd'hui. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Mona. Merci à tous et toutes d'être ici. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Mona, for the introduction. J'aimerais également d'abord souligner que nous sommes réunis sur le territoire traditionnel de la nation algonquine Anishinaabe. And let me start by saying that I'm a big admirer of the work undertaken by Birds Canada. Patrick, very happy to be with you. Your work is pivotal in bird conservation in Canada. It's great to see Patrick and the other members of the community here at the Fletcher Wildlife Garden, a sanctuary to birds and biodiversity right here in the middle of the city. Like many of you, I believe that in order to take care of ourselves and our future, we must take care of nature. And our government firmly understands that there can be no economic stability without a foundation of sustainability. The environment and the economy must go hand in hand. Nous avons tous et toutes besoin de la nature pour nous alimenter, boire de l'eau potable, respirer de l'air pur et vivre dans des conditions adéquates. En ce moment, le monde entier fait face à une triple crise: les changements climatiques, la pollution, notamment la pollution plastique, et la perte de biodiversité. Pour gagner la bataille contre la perte de biodiversité et les changements climatiques, il faut protéger la nature. Les oiseaux jouent un rôle particulièrement important car ils sont très sensibles aux changements de l'environnement comme la perte de leur habitat et la pollution. Ils sont donc de précieux indicateurs de la santé de l'air, de l'eau et de la terre. Que ce soit en construisant leur nid ou en s'alimentant, les oiseaux contribuent à rendre la vie meilleure. Ils dispersent des graines et des plantes qui, à leur tour, réduisent les inondations, freinent l'érosion et contribuent à filtrer les eaux souterraines. Nous savons que la meilleure façon d'aider les populations d'oiseaux à s'épanouir, c'est de préserver leur habitat. So today, I'm very pleased to announce that we're investing $3 million in Birds Canada over the next 5 years. This funding will support citizen science programs. It will support nature protection across Canada and further pivotal data gathering happening on the ground by volunteer citizens and bird lovers. With this funding, Bird Canada can build and improve the tools needed to collect, analyze, and share open access data to help a wide range of conservation efforts. This open access platform, called Nature Counts, is one of the world's largest biodiversity database with hundreds of millions of data records gathered by volunteers and professional biologists to understand where birds are and how they are doing in Canada and beyond. With this funding, experts will identify priority habitats and collect data that will inform land use management to better protect migratory birds and species at risks. Les oiseaux nous révèlent beaucoup d'informations. Des données exhaustives sur l'avifaune nous aident, premièrement, à déterminer les répercussions des changements climatiques et des agents stressants sur les écosystèmes, la biodiversité et les espèces. Deuxièmement, évaluer l'efficacité des mesures de conservation et de rétablissement dans le cadre d'une gestion d'adaptation. Et troisièmement, à mieux comprendre les facteurs qui menacent les oiseaux migrateurs au Canada et à l'étranger. À la COP 15, qui a eu lieu à Montréal, le Canada, aux côtés de 195 autres pays, a adopté un cadre mondial historique. Par ce cadre, nous nous sommes engagés à protéger la nature ainsi qu'à freiner et renverser la perte de biodiversité d'ici 2030 afin de placer la nature et les oiseaux sur une voie de rétablissement d'ici 2050. Le financement annoncé aujourd'hui vient renforcer l'un des piliers centraux de notre engagement car il fera en sorte que les décideurs et le public disposent des données les plus exhaustives qui soient sur la biodiversité. La protection et la conservation de la nature nous regardent toutes et tous. En favorisant la collaboration et en rendant publiques les données sur la biodiversité, nous pourrons mieux comprendre notre environnement. Je souligne d'ailleurs le travail exceptionnel des collectivités, des chercheurs et de la société civile, ainsi que les organisations qui s'unissent et redoublent d'efforts pour favoriser un avenir respectueux de la nature. Les bénévoles et passionnés qui participent à ces programmes de sciences citoyennes sont au cœur même des efforts déployés au Canada pour protéger la faune ailée. Before I finish, I want to encourage you to be a citizen scientist and participate in one of the biggest annual bird events, the Great Backyard Bird Count. From February 16 to 19, bird enthusiasts, outdoor adventurers, city walkers of all ages, from beginners to expert, will document the number and type of birds in their environment, whether that's in a nature reserve, a city park, or even, as my driver was talking about earlier, in a backyard. This event creates a real-time snapshot of where birds are of those 4 days. That information helps scientists better understand and protect birds around the world. I hope you'll choose to participate. Thank you all for being here and continue to support nature conservation. Merci beaucoup.
Well, it's clear I'm signing up. Merci. I was wondering whether I was going to do those 4 days, but I think that would be really good for my kids and I to participate. So my team just saw me say I'd be a participant. We need to sign me up after this. Alors, merci beaucoup, ministre Guilbeault, pour votre bonne nouvelle et je pense qu'on est très heureux aussi de voir que ce financement va contribuer grandement à la préservation de la nature ainsi qu'à la croissance et à la conservation de nos populations d'oiseaux. Mais ce que j'entends aussi, c'est des bénévoles, la société civile qui s'engage dans ce projet. Je pense que c'est aussi vraiment important et je vous en remercie. And at this time, now I would like to invite Mr. Patrick Nadeau, President of Birds Canada, to deliver his remarks. Patrick.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le ministre, Madame Fortier. En tant que président-directeur général d'Oiseaux Canada, je peux vous dire que c'est une merveilleuse journée pour la biodiversité au pays. Oiseaux Canada est un organisme national sans but lucratif. Depuis plus de 60 ans, nous agissons pour améliorer la connaissance, l'appréciation et la conservation des oiseaux au Canada. It's Valentine's Day. Canadians love nature and we love birds. According to Statistics Canada, in the last year alone, nearly 10 million of us made purchases to feed or shelter birds on our properties. Sadly, birds are undergoing a catastrophic decline. In fact, we've lost 3 billion birds in North America since 1970. That's almost 1 in 3 birds. If there's a silver lining here, it's that this knowledge is power, because the most effective conservation actions come from a sound understanding of which birds are declining, where, and why. In Canada, this understanding comes in large part from the work of citizen scientists. Birds Canada citizen science programs mobilize more than 74,000 people, doing the work of the equivalent of nearly 2,000 full-time professionals. To our knowledge, this is the largest network of citizen scientists in the country. And it's an incredibly diverse group. Volunteers such as Dave in Canada, Ontario, who participate in Project Feeder Watch by reporting the birds they see in their backyards. Or Cole in Kanawake, Quebec, who participates in the Marsh Monitoring Program, which tells us how wetland birds are faring. Or seasoned volunteers like Aaron and Christian, who participate in provincial breeding bird atlases, which help us understand the long-term changes affecting an entire region. Such an undertaking would be plainly unthinkable without the work of citizen scientists. Page turn, -7, not used to this weather anymore. L'enthousiasme grandissant pour la science citoyenne est indéniable. Les participants à ces programmes renforcent leur lien avec la nature et passent du temps à l'extérieur, amenant de nombreux bénéfices pour la santé mentale et physique. Plusieurs rapportent également un engagement accru dans leur communauté. Ces bénévoles sont bien en mesure de constater les changements qui sévissent et l'urgence d'agir pour freiner et renverser la perte de biodiversité. With so many citizen scientists active across the country, you might be asking yourself, what happens to all this data they're collecting? Well, as the minister was saying, the answer in short is that Birds Canada collects, cleans up, analyzes, and stores this data, and then makes it freely available to everybody. So our open data platform called Nature Counts currently stores over 200 million records, making it one of the largest biodiversity databases in the world. And every year, thousands of scientists, government officials, and industry groups use this data to inform decision-making. So in this way, observations of citizen scientists like Aaron, like Dave, can be used many times over. So for example, in 2021-22, the data collected by these citizen scientists by Birds Canada were used in 533 peer-reviewed publications. Citizen science data also helped to identify Canada's key biodiversity areas. It helped to determine which individual bird species in Canada are threatened, and the list of applications goes on and on. See, look at how happy they are. White-breasted nuthatch. In our view, today's announcement is directly aligned with the commitments Canada made under the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. For example, it's Target 21, which calls for ensuring that the best available data are accessible to decision makers, practitioners, and the public to guide integrated and participatory management of biodiversity. Monsieur le Ministre, we're honored by your trust. And of course, we invite you all. We have Madame Fortier on the record as being a participant for this weekend in the Great Backyard Bird Count. It's an awesome, family-friendly citizen science activity. You can find more information at birdscanada.org. Merci beaucoup tout le monde et au plaisir de travailler avec vous, Monsieur le Ministre, et votre équipe envers nos objectifs communs.
Merci Patrick. On a même le Bird Gallery ici, là, qui participe à notre annonce. Alors, un grand merci. I do want to, before we start the moderation of question and answers, if you're wondering why Minister and I and even Richard were late, we were voting. We had to vote before. So thank you for your patience. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sure you understand why we started a couple of minutes late. But it's for a good reason. So now we go to the best part of the announcement, the question and answers. So I will ask Madame Sonia Noro-Perraudot, Senior Communications Advisor at Environment and Climate Change Canada, to come and monitor. And I will say miigwech. Merci beaucoup. Thank you all. Nakumik.
Hi, my name is Sonia Perrodo. Bonjour, mon nom est Sonia Perrodo. C'est moi qui va modérer cette période de questions. I'll be moderating this Q&A session. Of course, let's start with some housekeeping items. In the interest of time, please keep to one question and one follow-up question. And please do identify your name and your outlet when asking your question. Nous allons commencer avec 2-3 points d'usage. Merci de vous limiter à une question et une sous-question dans l'intérêt du temps, ainsi que de vous identifier par votre nom ainsi que par votre média pour poser une question. Je vois qu'on a déjà quelqu'un au micro des médias. I see there's already someone who wants to ask a question at the media mic. Matteo, please go ahead and don't forget to introduce your full name and your outlet. Thank you.
Thank you. Matteo Similero, Canada's National Observer. My first question is regarding citizen science, and it's important for achieving Target 21. Can you speak a little bit to its role regarding Canada's moves to achieving the targets in the Global Diversity Framework, and if we can expect more investments into citizen science going forward?
Well, I think both Patrick and I talked about the importance, and in fact, Patrick got much better data than I had in my speech on the role of citizen science. But this is certainly something we want to foster and encourage more going forward, because it plays such an important part in what is becoming a movement towards getting citizens more involved in environmental issues, but also in citizen science as well.
Follow-up. This follow-up is regarding the near-surface disposal facility near Chalk River, run by the Canada Nuclear Laboratories. I was speaking with Lance Heyman, chief of Quebec First Nation, who's voicing his opposition to it. He says he sent you a letter regarding disallowing the SARA permits, Species at Risk Act permits, to CNL. Just wondering if Lance Heyman was here, Chief Heyman was here, what would you tell him?
Well, as you probably know, the impact, the evaluation of environmental impacts of nuclear projects is done under the Impact Assessment Act, but by the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. And in fact, it's been like that for many decades, where nuclear issues are evaluated not by different incarnation of the Impact Assessment Commission, but by the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. They've done a very thorough analysis, consultations. I certainly understand that some groups, and in particular case that nation, disagrees with the recommendation that was done. It is an independent body, and as you know, it's also done under Natural Resources Canada. So this is and they also, under the Impact Assessment Act, they have the right to issue permits. So there's no like parallel process here where the impact where IAC does the work and the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission does other part of the world. It's all done under the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission.
Okay, thank you, Minister. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thanks.
Do we have any other questions? Est-ce que nous avons d'autres questions? Oui, monsieur.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Davis Legree, iPolitics. I had a couple of questions. I'm sorry, they're not about birds, but they're also not about roads, so I thought you might like them. On the impact...
Because they don't tend to go well together, like birds and roads, just...
On the Impact Assessment Act, we're expecting changes this spring. Jonathan Wilkinson has said as much.
Yeah.
But the first time it went through the House, the NDP, the Bloc, and the Conservatives all voted against it. I'm wondering how you expect to get these changes through the House.
I mean, I think since 2019, we've seen the benefit of updating our Impact Assessment Act, and it's not perfect. And clearly, the Supreme Court, in its opinion, pointed to some issues, contrary to what the Conservative Party of Canada is saying. The Supreme Court didn't say that the Impact Assessment Act was unconstitutional, but they did point out to some elements that were problematic. This is what my team and I and the cabinet have been working on, and I'm confident that we will be able to find support in the House of Commons to bring those changes in recognition of what the Supreme Court said in its opinion.
Okay, and unrelated, Ches Crosby was invited to appear before the Natural Resources Committee by the Conservatives earlier this week.
Yes.
Where he denied the existence of climate change, calling it bogus. And I'm just wondering what you made of his appearance.
I was not at this committee, but I did see the video. I mean, part of me wants to say it's appalling that the leader of a Conservative party in Canada would say that, but unfortunately, it's what we've come to expect from Conservative leaders in Canada these days. It wasn't always like that, but it is like that now, whether it's Danielle Smith, whether it's Scott Moe, whether it's Pierre Poilievre. I mean, the official position of the Conservative Party of Canada is still that climate change doesn't exist. So why should we be surprised if they invite people in parliamentary committee who deny the very existence of climate change, while Alberta, the government of Alberta, is having to start looking into rationing water because of low-level precipitation this year and low-level waters that we're seeing. We're seeing atmospheric rivers in British Columbia. We saw obviously record forest fires. So part of me is appalled, and part of me is like, oh well, this is what the Conservative Party, Conservative parties of Canada has become by and large. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have other questions? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions?
Bonsoir, je suis Christian Renaud, je représente l'Atlas des oiseaux nicheurs d'Ontario, Ontario Breeding Bird Atlas. Je me réjouis de savoir qu'il va y avoir environ 3 millions de dollars qui vont être donnés à Oiseaux Canada. J'aimerais avoir une idée, si vous savez comment cet argent-là va être réparti. Est-ce que ça va être surtout des salaires pour les voyages, pour l'informatique? Je suis curieux de savoir comment est-ce que ça a été pensé, comment l'argent va être distribué. Si vous y avez déjà pensé, ou on va décider maintenant.
Oui.
Ouais. Ben, tout d'abord, merci beaucoup de votre participation dans l'Atlas. Je crois que vous êtes environ 2000 en Ontario à participer à l'Atlas des oiseaux nicheurs. Donc, thank you to all the Atlas volunteers. L'Atlas des oiseaux nicheurs dans l'Ontario fait partie des investissements. Donc, ça va soutenir le travail des bénévoles, ça va soutenir leur coordination, l'analyse de toutes les données qui vont être recueillies par ces bénévoles-là, qui se fait par Oiseaux Canada. Donc, ça prend des logiciels, ça prend des humains pour pouvoir vraiment compiler cette information-là. Donc, une partie de l'investissement d'aujourd'hui va aller vers l'Atlas. Et parallèlement à l'Atlas d'Ontario, on a aussi un Atlas en Saskatchewan et à Terre-Neuve. Donc, il y a 3 Atlas en ce moment en Ontario. Donc, l'Atlas est un exemple parfait de ce pourquoi cet investissement-là va servir.
Merci. Et au Québec dans quelques années.
All right, I'd like to remind everyone this is a Q&A for reporters only. Cette période de questions est limitée aux membres des médias. Is there other reporters that have questions? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres journalistes qui ont des questions? Well, this concludes this Q&A session. Ceci conclut cette période de questions. Merci infiniment. Thank you very much, everyone.